Today's video is a video that I wish I didn't have to make. A customer, we'll call him John, reached out to me a week ago asking for a second opinion for a job that he felt uneasy about, and he had good reasons to feel uneasy. I came out, I gave him a free second opinion camera inspection, and what I discovered is that his previous plumbing company was either incredibly dishonest or incredibly inept and didn't know what they were doing. You see, John had grout that had been poured down his drain lines, and he hired this other plumbing company to come out and remove it. Well, they hydrojetted for a few hours, but if you're a skilled tradesman, a skilled plumber, you know that that's not enough to get the grout out of the lines. They got some grout out, but then they did their camera inspection and they said, hey, John, unfortunately, your line is collapsed and we got to cut the floor, we got to reroute the drain line, and it's going to cost you 20 grand, plus whatever it costs to put the drywall back and fix the flooring, etc. And so imagine my customer's surprise when I come out and I say, no, you don't need to do that. We can get all of the grout out. We can do this job in 1 day or less. And I guarantee my work, I guarantee there won't be a single piece of grout left in the drain line when I'm done. And that's exactly what we did in this video. We got all of the grout out, and we saved our customer from having to cut up the floor. And the reason I'm making this video is because I want to hold that other plumbing company to account. I hope he takes this video and he sends it to them. I hope that they refund his money. And if they don't, I've recommended to him to go to the Florida State Licensing Board, the Construction Industry Licensing Board, and file a formal complaint against their license. Because what they did is highly unethical and most likely illegal. Watch the entire video. I think it'll be very informative to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm at a job where we're doing some hydrojetting and some removal of some grout that got poured down a toilet line during the renovation. And what I'm doing right now is I'm digging up this clean out. You can see down here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dig a pit, and that's gonna allow me to cut this clean out and remove it. And we're gonna dig an even deeper hole underneath the sewer line so that as we pull all the debris out, it goes into the ground instead of into the sewer line and then downstream into the city line. All right, so here's the deal. I've got the pit dug out. You can see that there's a good 6-7 inches underneath my clean out. So now I'm gonna cut the pipe on both sides. And you know, it's really, really important that if you're doing a hydrojet and descale, always dig a pit underneath where you're gonna be descaling into, because you don't want the debris to get into the main sewer. That would totally screw your client. So we're not gonna do that, of course. All right, so this is the video inspection that we did prior to doing any hydrojetting or descaling of the line. And so we're inserting the camera down the toilet flange here, which you can see is broken. We ended up fixing that too. But look at all the grout on the bottom of the drain line there. You'll see it on the left-hand side of the screen. And so there's a ton of grout in this line. And you might be asking, how do we get this out? Well, it's very simple. We use an acid base that breaks down the hardener of the grout. And then we use a set of flex shaft chains that are built to be used inside of PVC directly. And the acid, along with the PVC chains, breaks up the grout into small pieces. And then we are able to flush all of the debris downstream into the pit that you saw me dig earlier. And that allows us to get this line back to the way that it should be, which is clear, free, and beautiful. Okay, so my plumber Brandon is holding a bottle of calci-solve in his hands. And what calci-solve is it's a type of acid that is going to get poured down the drain. You can see him pouring it down the drain now. And what it's going to do is it's going to break up the hardener inside of the grout. And after about 15 to 20 minutes, the hardener is going to be broken down on the grout. And then we're going to be able to run some water and use some chains to break up the grout even further and smash it into tiny little pieces. And so if you have grout that gets down a drain line, your first step is get a bottle of calci-solve and pour it down the drain and wait approximately 15 to 20 minutes.
Waited 15 minutes, let it kick off, but that thing stank.
All right, so what Brandon is doing now is he's running the flex shaft with PVC chains down the drain to break up the grout into bite-sized little pieces that we can then use the jetter to pull out of the drain line.
Let's see what we got over here.
Oh, look at that. Big old chunk of grout.
Nice chunk.
That looks nice.
All right, so Brandon and David are running the hydro jetter, which is pulling all of the little bits of grout that have been smashed up and dissolved. They're pulling all of the bits of grout into this pit that we have dug underneath the homeowner's drain line here. We have this pit as a way of preventing all of the nasty stuff that comes out of the drain from getting into the sewer and then clogging up his sewer down the line. And so you can see they're running this jetter, and they did this several times, right? They did calci-solve, chains, hydrojet. They did that process several times. And then I come back at the end of the day, and here's what I found. All right, so David and Brandon have wrapped up the hydrojetting and the descale, and I just showed up back at the job, and this line looks beautiful. I'm gonna turn the camera around so y'all can see just how good this line looks now. Now, keep in mind, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned it. There's a local plumbing company that said, oh, you know, his line is collapsed. We need to dig up the floor. It's going to cost him $20,000 to get this grout out of the line. I don't know if you noticed, there's no grout in the line now. And the reason is because we're actual professionals that actually know what we're doing, right? And so if you get that red flag feeling, or your gut just tells you that something is wrong, trust your gut, because 9 times out of 10, you're on to something. And you can see the little stains where the grout used to be, right? And it's all gone. Everything's going to flow great now. So great job, David. I'm real happy with how this turned out. But, you know, for the viewers, y'all got to be careful. If you hire the wrong plumber, like my client did previously, he hired a company that charged him $2,000 to jet, which basically means they didn't do anything, right? Because they didn't actually get anything out of the line. And on top of that, they wanted to charge him another $20,000. And so if you hire the wrong people, they're going to screw you over. Don't be afraid to call another plumber like myself or another reputable, locally owned and operated plumbing company, because family businesses aren't going to take advantage of you. All right, so David went ahead and backfilled the area, got the sewer clean out back in place, and I'm going to go check on Brandon. We got that toilet back on. He should be just about done putting it back together. All right, so it looks like Brandon's got the toilet back together. So now we just need to grout around the base of the toilet, sweep up the floor, and that'll be all she wrote, folks.